Daniel, what I want to show you today is just a couple common areas to stick one of these lacrosse balls or myofascial balls. Things tend to get short, they tend to get ropey, they get a little bit restricted, especially when we're working in less than advantageous positions. I mean, who are you right now? We can also want to give you some examples of common areas where I'm having people work on themselves with a ball. This is a lacrosse ball. It's about 250 bucks, 250 pennies. You can get them everywhere. Play It Again Sports has them for cheap. Rubber band balls work great. Just to give you an example. So the very first place that I recommend for the upper body for folks that I see is that the external rotators of the shoulder tend to get a little ropey. And so what we're going to do is have you lay on the ground, and we're going to find these areas behind your shoulder, specifically in the external rotators that are tight. Okay? So let's go ahead and lay down on the ground. Very simple.
On my side or my back?
If you're on your side, on your back is fine, just like that. If you put this in a place that feels tender, let's have you roll on it a little bit. So specifically, go ahead and stick that underneath your shoulder. Anything tight there?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So how do we deal with that? One is I want you to roll around on it until you make change. So if you find an area of kind of tension or of emphasis that's talking to you a little bit, go ahead or something that's your stuff, go ahead and just kind of move around back and forth, make little movements back and forth over the muscle, over that kind of musculo-tendinous junction, and just hang out on there. Take some big breaths. 30 seconds, 90 seconds, 2 minutes. The idea is you need enough pressure in there long enough to make some change in the muscle. So the muscle has kind of these viscoelastic properties. This tissue has these viscoelastic properties. It takes time under tension to make change. And so a lot of times, if 20 quick seconds isn't probably enough to work on these things, we want to get in and have a little bit more sustained pressure lasting a little bit longer. So you kind of hang out back and forth there. You can oscillate. Yeah, you feel it in the front, absolutely, because that external rotator inserts kind of right on, you think about the insertion of that thing right on the kind of the peak of the shoulder there, and that's oftentimes where that stuff refers pain anyway. So that's a simple place for that guy, easy to do. So the rules are, hey, let's get a couple minutes on there, maybe 4 fingers of wine prior to doing this makes a difference, or vodka or whatever paleo drink you're drinking. The other concept is that I'm going to roll on there until I make change, until, hey, it starts to feel like, normal tissue again, okay? And it can be identified in a whole area or a little bit ropey spot. Never fall asleep on the ball. If your hand starts to go numb, stop. Okay, there's some nerve bundles back there and plexes that you can definitely injure, your long thoracic nerve, for example. So, be smart about this. Don't fall asleep on the ball. Okay, so that would be just some external rotator stuff that gets a little bit tight and ropey. Second place is that we're going to stick this up in your armpit a little bit, and specifically we're going to kind of attach the lat, and we're going to try to get in here. This is subscapularis. It's one of your internal rotators on the other side of your scapula. So we're going to have you kind of roll onto your side and see if you can identify that place with your arm above your head a little bit. Feel anything in there? Can you open that up a little bit?
Should I feel it like there on the outside?
Yeah. Well, the key is, the goal is we want to try to sneak up on the tendon. So maybe not smashing it directly, but maybe kind of coming up on it obliquely. The key is that if, that's an area that tends to get tight in a lot of our overhead athletes, and hey, oop, that's my spot right there. And look, that's that position of emphasis, and that subscapularis tends to limit the excursion of the arm forward into that active shoulder position. So if we can get you to just release that, then maybe we can get that arm to translate forward a little bit and kind of consummate that end range motion. Again, easy thing. No numbness, tingling. Did you find a spot there? Yeah, take some big breaths. Could you do some contract, relax there too? Yeah, give that a try. Big breath, get tight, try to press into the ball. 5 seconds, release for 10 seconds. Good, stretch a little bit further. Terrific. The idea of a trigger point ball or myofascial release ball or whatever you want to call it is, hey, I have a tight ropey section that's talking to me, I get in there, and create a localized kind of stretch across those tissues. Easy, right? Okay. So another one, common problem I see for a lot of athletes. We don't think about triceps very often. This is kind of a classic tricep stretch, but oftentimes kind of at the base of the tricep coming into the elbow, this ends up being a limiting position. We get tight and short here, but that tricep also crosses two joints. It crosses the elbow, and then it also one of those heads crosses the armpit. And so if we can put you into this position on your stomach, so let's flip you over on your stomach. Let's face the camera that way. Bring that arm up in front of you, and we'll put that ball around through here. And one of the things that you can do is weight it, and then you can start to pump through it. So this is a kind of an active tack and stretch. And what's happening is we're getting a micro tack underneath that ball, and then pulling the tissues past that restriction on the ball. And that's, it's the same principles involved in active release therapy or active release technique, but this is you directly treating shortened and restricted tissues. So pulling it past. Find anything there? You might need to roll around, change that position. And then if you'll notice that you're pretty much on the inside, let's see if we can bias that out to the, oh, there's something, right? And you had to sneak up laterally. Anything feel tight there?
That's worse.
That's worse. Good. Worse is better. Good. And again, hang out there 90 seconds, 2 minutes, or until I make change or I just can't take it anymore. Make sense?
Yeah.
So how about lats? Can you roll on your lats? Show me a lat place for that. Any problem there?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All kinds of problems there, right? You're a lat athlete. Simple. And so, you can, I didn't have to tell you where to put that. I said, hey, put that in your lats and check it out. You found something that was tight. One of the kind of most common upper body problems I think are easily remedied, let me grab this again, is that if we take two of these balls, or two tennis balls, I think tennis balls are for children. Once you're an advanced athlete, you need to up the pain. What we're going to do is take two balls together. You don't render them kind of useless once you've taped them together. You can still do all the same things we were just doing. Sometimes I think I got a doctoral degree so I can learn how to tape two balls together to treat people. So let's have it on your back. So we're going to imagine that your spine is going to go in the middle. These are going to go on either side. So let's go ahead and set that just right in your thoracic spine, right in the middle of where your rib cage is. Bend your feet up. Just land somewhere, start a spot, and go lay back. And go ahead and hug yourself. Good. And then just relax over that thing. You should be able to take some big, big breaths in there and relax, and you should be able to completely relax. We're on a relatively soft surface here. To make this a little bit more gnarly, you can be on a hardwood floor. Take some big breaths. You can bias side to side. You should be able to go kind of segment by segment down. Go ahead and scoot down a bit. Excellent. Take some big breaths in there again. What's nice is that if we're limited in that thoracic extension, then shoulders don't really have an option about getting out of the way. So if I can get that extension through that segmental extension, then I can get my shoulder blades out of the way and I clean up my overhead position a little bit. And then, you might get some cracks, you might get some pops, go and lay over that and just relax. If I'm a good friend, I can come over through your elbows a little bit and even just press a little bit up and down and oscillate. How's that feel?
Should my butt be off the ground?
I don't really care where your butt is. There's not a wrong way or right way. Good. And then just go slide that way a little bit. Good. And then again, just hanging out. This can be extended all the way through the lumbar. So go ahead and scoot all the way down to the base of your pelvis, right kind of the top where right at these kind of this lumbar sacral junction. Imagine that these balls are pushing on either side of the spine in these little facet joints. So not only am I if I can go side to side a little bit, I can get a little of this kind of gross facet joint mobilization myself, right? They just get sticky sometimes, need a little talking to. But also I get this kind of big segmental gross mobilization. So I don't need to kill myself. But just rolling back and forth is a way to treat an achy back. Your erectors are working hard all the time. Again, just trying to create blood flow can't be a bad thing. Is it painful? No, it shouldn't be unpainful. It should be uncomfortable, absolutely. And these are, big, big, gnarly lacrosse balls. Slide down that way. Good. So, really, really simple, obvious places to deal with that business. Make sense?
Yep.
Great.